When I tell the CFO that it's going to take us like another month to do this thing that he thought was only going to take a week, because when we actually got into the code, we realized it was relying on a whole bunch of other stuff. And now that we're in the guts of the change, we have to do the right thing. That's not lying. Like that.
Well, that's evidence-based.
That's like I'm translating by not taking him through every single technical detail that honestly he wouldn't want to hear anyway.
Yeah, and also you're not crafting the message to serve your purpose necessarily. You found out that the code has all these issues, etc. So it's evidence-based to me. It's just that does he want to see the evidence? If he does, you can present that, or she, right?
Yeah.
You can present that. So that's not really the problem necessarily. It's those people that are trying to hide things under the blanket, so to speak, and just say, well, we know our code is terrible.
Right.
So we have to come up with a reason why.
That's right.
It's complicated.
That's right.
Right?
That's
It's complex. It's like, well, you have no evidence behind that. You're just saying it's complex. You don't understand there are way too many moving parts. If your CFO is technical, or CIO, for example, if they're technical, or CTO, they can understand this. Other people in the company, they're going to take your word for it because you're the trusted party here as an expert in your domain. So, oh yeah, it's complicated. Oh yeah, you said it was going to take us, or you thought it would take us, I don't know, a month. It's going to take us 3 months. It's just the way it is.
Effective persuasion requires speaking to each audience, speaking to their different concerns and their different mental models. But the underlying data and the recommendations, those stay the same. So with that being said, let me throw out the Steelman side of it.
Steelman. I think we need a Steelman icon.
Steelman. I did the He-Man. Thanks for coming to the live podcast. So the Steelman. Here we go. Any change in language inevitably changes emphasis. And changing emphasis means that some audiences will have different impressions of priority and urgency, which is functionally the same as changing the message. Oh boy.
Well, we're transitioning now into changing the message.
So in practice, the line between translation and spin, it's very blurry, and it's safer to use consistent languages across all audiences to avoid even the appearance of manipulation, especially if you're one of these pathological organizations where Brian always spins. They caught you once slipping, and now Brian always spins the truth. So the better way is to never get caught playing that game, and you just speak one way. You speak with the facts, and there you go.
This is a great topic. This particular point, I think, is very, very good.
My Steelman.
So the thing about this point is it's who you're perceived as a communicator.
Yes.
Are you perceived as somebody who's always shifting from one foot to another? Or are you somebody who simply says, listen, here are the facts, or here's what I believe the facts are? There's a difference between those two as well. And then just objectively as possible, relay the message without looking to deflect blame in any direction, really.
You know, the other one I've heard people use that is great is what I heard you say was, and then repeat something that was not what you said.
And now we're straight into politics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I want to go back, right?
Sorry, I jumped ahead in my experience.
This is actually part of it.
I got a story coming up.
Yeah. So here's what I would recommend people to do. Do not use those corporate sayisms, right? Like, well, we're going after the low-hanging fruit. Well, how low does it have to be? Could a garden gnome reach it? I saw this meme today, but it's a very valid low-hanging fruits. Like, how low? How low is it? Do you need a ladder? Just say it like it is and say, we're going after something we can deliver in days instead of months, and then field for questions. So in your messaging, do not mix multiple topics. And at the end, just say, does anybody have any questions? People are still absorbing what you said because you had like multiple points you made. At every point you make, just pause and field.
Yeah.
If you really care to get that feedback, of course.
Yeah.
So that genuineness that you need to bring to the table. So don't use those corporate sayings that people often just throw in there. Everyday language.
I've got two things that I thought of from what you just said. Two things to point out from what you just said. Is translation of the message versus transformation of the message, which is also like co-opting the message, right?
Exactly.
So the translation changes the vocabulary, sure, but the message is the same. It preserves the core facts. Again, we come back to this. Just lay out the facts, right? Just the facts, ma'am. And then transformation changes the actual story. Who's responsible, what the problems are, what the perception of it. This is where like the OKRs bugs me in corporate America, because when the stress is on, like people will manipulate numbers and metrics to tell whatever story they want to tell. And I've seen people twist themselves into knots to manipulate that. I'm jumping forward to experience. So the test here is if you take all of the statements that someone's made, again, this is the same test in this category as it was in the first category. If you take all the statements they made and you write them all down, you play them all back against facts, are they going to be parallel narratives, or are they going to be like, are they all going to lead back to the truth? This is sort of like the single source of truth, single document of truth kind of approach.
This is why cops single out people separately and ask them the same questions. What version of the story are you hearing?
All right, it's time for us to bend the truth. No, just kidding. You're an enterprise coach. You have to talk to development teams. You have to talk to leadership. You have to talk to sponsors, people that just manage money. They don't actually work on the software or use the software and meet customers. How do you keep the messages straight when you're talking to different audiences?
Yes, that's a really good question. I come from the position of it is what it is. And if I twist it, it's going to satisfy some people, but at the expense of taking off others that basically just say, why are we here? Right? So I come from a position of telling people exactly what's going on and then fielding for concerns and questions. But one thing I try to avoid almost always is casting blame, because it doesn't change things. You can cast blame all you like, but it doesn't change where you are. You're still going to be where you are. This is sort of like that old thing that I always talk about on the podcast is you hold up a mirror and say, like what you see? Sure, break the mirror. Bring another one. You're still going to like what you see. I've seen people, though, in other walks of life, including the field that I'm in, to come in and basically twist things a little bit here and there to the point where you think you're looking in the mirror, but it's like one of those circus mirrors. The images are not what they should be. Those kinds of trickery.
Let's say chicanery.
Yeah, chicanery. They don't last long. You get caught out at some point. And when you do, you fall a long way down. You lose credibility that takes so long to build and it's so quick to destroy. So don't do it, folks. It's not worth it.
So if you can't draw a straight line from what you told the CEO to what you told the intern and everybody in between, you're not translating. You're lying to multiple people.
You're transforming, Brian.
You're lying to multiple people in multiple languages.
You're a transformation agent.
Yeah, that's
is what
right.
You
so
are.
rather than speaking different languages, you're lying in different languages. And I would say you've done well, Grasshopper. You've learned well.
There you go. Distorting the truth.
You're ready for a life of crime. That's what I'm saying. To sell drugs, do crime. I don't know. Can we recommend here put the core facts in the center, and then you branch out to different audiences with different audience-specific language? Obviously, executives, they only want to hear about impact. The user of your software, they don't care about impact. They want to know about
what have you done for them.
Yeah, what have you done for them with their specific flow and stuff like that. So, again, we return to Arguing Agile 201 because, again, at the heart of a lot of this is you have to know how does that quadrant want to be communicated with and what is important for them. If the executive quadrant, they only want to hear about hard financial numbers, they want to hear about impact, but they want it to be in terms of financials and nothing else, which usually, especially in larger companies where they're so divorced from any one product, or if you have multiple products, they don't even care about talking about one product. They just want the numbers and everything else stripped out.
Yeah, again, we may have different people in the audience that are at different parts in their journey. So the advice I have for those people is if you're not sure, don't be afraid to reach out to a peer. Go to meetups. Go talk to people that are in the same field or adjacent fields. Reach out to them and say, what would you do in this situation?
Right.
Because you don't learn this stuff in school. So I would say reach out, learn from people, and, live long and prosper.
I've got advice as a product manager for people but I'm telling you now, I don't think people are going to want to hear it, is, first of all, go do your homework and watch Arguing Agile 201. And then Mastering Stakeholder Communication. And then when you've watched 201, actually do the grid. Write the grid down, start putting people's names in it, and then go and interview 20 people. That's 5 people per grid. Go and interview 20 people.
It's not a lot.
It is easally doable, but I'm telling, like right now, like 95% of people just dropped off. No. And then ask them, like, how do you want, when I come up with new features or when I'm going to release new things or when I'm testing things or whatever, how do you want to know about it? I want to know about it before. Oh, I want a video demo. Oh, I want whatever. They'll all want different things.
Sure.
So, but talk to 20 people and then come back and then get a handle on what your communication strategy is going to be. Because if your strategy is telling everyone what they want to hear and just taking all the promotions and now suddenly you're running the business and all the product managers are under you because you're like, this is the episode we just put out. Yeah. A lot of people have landed themselves in this career where they just like sign all the checks, whether they can be cashed or not. And suddenly they're like, success is their worst enemy. And this is a wild problem.
People have just become, you've just been promoted to your highest level of incompetence.
So the takeaway, again, in the center of that 2x2 is a circle, which is the core facts.
Right.
Because those facts have to be communicated. You start with the facts. No matter what the communication plan is you build for each stakeholder, you start with the facts and then you branch out from there. So the takeaway here is very straightforward and quick. And honestly, if you've talked to those 20 people, it's going to be pretty easy, believe it or not. It doesn't sound easy because, like, talking to those people and then wrangling all those cats. Is it cat wrangler? Are you a cat wrangler now?
Cat herder. Yeah. One thing you could possibly do if you're diligent about speaking to each individual for their own concerns is map those on the 2x2 and then draw a concentric circle around the 0,
Yep.
and figure out how many you can group together for a given communication method. That might be your kind of practical how-to. And that groups the 20, 25 people into groups that you can use for using specific distribution channels.
Again, we pass to the audience. What do you think about this category? Like, is there a clear line between translation and deception, I think, or am I off my rocker again? Like, am I on the sauce again? Is that what I'm asking right now?
You're not off your rocker. I mean, those of you that are excelling in one side of it or the other, you might be ready to go run for office.
But also, if you go listen to 201 and you look at the framework and you adopt that, I'm interested if you actually can use it and how it worked out. So if you just think about it,
and
take it offline.
Let us know in the comments below. We would really appreciate that. And also let us know while you're there, what are the topics you'd like us to delve into.